Hello, everybody. I'm Cheryl Campbell, and we're here today for Manifestation Mondays. Today, we're going to be talking about a quote that is from a gentleman named Robin Sharma, who is actually somebody that I study under. I just love Robin. He's absolutely incredible. But he said something the other day that really struck me, and that is a great life is nothing more than a series of well lived days. So I thought that was really interesting. And I am here today with my friend Marion, and we're going to discuss this particular quote of Robin's. Hi, Marion.
Hi, Cheryl.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
And what that quote just did for me is I think we should both just take a deep breath right now.
So, guys, we will tell you this because this is all about sharing and getting over angst and living your best life. So, the reason why Marion just suggested that, and thank you, Marion, for suggesting it, but we are having all kinds of technical difficulties getting our volume right, our lighting right, and we are completely running out of time for doing this live stream. We needed to get live. And so we just decided it's going to be good enough for today. We'll learn, we'll adjust. And Marion, as always, suggests wonderful things. And she said, take a breather. So, Marion, thank you for that because I definitely needed to take a breather. So, what do you think about the quote from Robin?
So, what I loved about that is being in the moment. We, and myself included, we have such a list of things that just bog us down so much. And so, a life well lived, if we can break that down to a day well lived, and if we can even break that down to a moment. And that's why I took a breath, because so many times we are off to the next thing. We are, we're not present.
Yeah. And and this isn't a new conversation for us. We've actually talked about this quite a bit on being conscious, being in the moment. Always, living in the past, you can't do that because the past is the past. And if you live in the future, you're not living in the present. And so when you said take a breath, that's actually something that I do when I need to recenter myself because a breath is in the present. So a lot of times I will just take a moment and I'll breathe in. Actually, I'll breathe in through my nose and I'll breathe out through my mouth, listening to my breath. And when I do that, it completely centers me and it completely brings me back to the moment. So that's how I do it. Do you have a particular way to bring yourself back to center when you need to?
Well, same thing. Your breath is your most calming tool that you can have. I often like to add an essential oil to that just because I'm an essential oil junkie, as you know.
And what did we do before when we were trying to get calm before it was going live? We both pulled out our essential oils. You used bergamot, I think, and I used rose. That's funny. We're two peas in
And
a pod, kiddo.
yeah, because that's that breath in just goes, right to your brain. If you're
Mm-hmm.
using a calming oil, if you need an
Mm-hmm.
uplifting oil, that's another thing. But just
Mm-hmm.
again, it just that moment of breathing in aromatherapy is by itself bringing you to the present. It's almost like a mindful moment,
Mm-hmm.
because
Mm-hmm.
just the action of taking that breath in, and what helps is your olfactory senses are your fastest path to your memories and your emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So if doing that reminds you to just be quiet for a moment, then right there you're being more present than you were when you had that list of 20 things running through your head.
Right. And you know what's interesting is that because of the experience that we had just before making, this live stream, we kind of did in reverse of what we usually do. And we usually discuss a quote and then we try to give a few tips on how you can apply that. And so we actually did it differently because of our experiences today. And we gave tips on how you can become more centered and how you can get in the moment. But now let's do what we normally would have done first and talk about the quote just for a moment or two about what Robin said, and I'm going to read it again. All right. A great life is nothing more than a series of well-lived days. And even though moment by moment we have a choice, all right, that's how we could always do our little daily course corrections if we need to. And I will give a brief example. The other morning, both Alec, my husband's on vacation this week, and we both got up early, like 5 a.m., and we were tired. We weren't in our usual, like, hop out of bed and, rearing to go kind of mode. And so I thought to myself, well, this is going to be a really bad day if we don't change this right now. And so I actually did some of my breathing exercises, and I also do a little energy routine in the morning. And I said, Al, when are we going to go for our walk? And he goes, right now. And so in that moment of the day, we did a course correction almost immediately when we got out of bed. And we went for our walk. It was still a little bit dark. By the time we were halfway through the walk, it became lighter. We went to the park with our dog, Andy. And I got to tell you, it turned into a fantastic day. So every moment of every day, you can choose to have a course correction. But when Robin says it's a great life is a series of good days, that is so true, because every day you get a new day,
Right.
And I think if we take our little baby steps too, that you and I often talk about, just a baby step every day to make your life better, you're going to be surprised at how far you've gotten,
Yeah. And having that big picture of that life well lived, that is so important. But day to day, living with intention. So you do have to still, a lot of people get overwhelmed because they say, how can I get to that great life that I want to live?
Mm-hmm.
But if we can live with intention every day,
Mm-hmm.
we broke it down immediately into the moment.
Right.
But living with intention.
Intention is the very first thing that you can do above all else, because when you set an intention, the universe hears it. All right. And without getting into the laws of the universe and what that all means, when you set an intention, it really does. It lets your subconscious know, it lets the universe know that this is what I'm going to be doing. And it really is the first step of everything. It really is. At least I found that to be true.
Yeah. And what Robin Sharma does is he really recommends having rituals throughout your day.
I didn't know you knew Robin and his work. Isn't he awesome?
I do know Robin and his work.
I love him.
And so it's how you start your morning. It's that 5-minute energy routine, which, I start my day with also. We really are two peas in a pod, aren't we?
And we've known each other for so long, and I had no idea that you liked Robin's work too. So how ironic is that? I love it.
So it's having a ritual of gratitude, which is a foundation to, my beliefs, and I'm sure yours also.
I've made gratitude. I will tell you this. I've made gratitude such a large part of my life for so long that it's actually become just part of who I am. Right. It's like I catch myself all the time with thoughts of gratitude, and that's not me and specifically, but gratitude and that is not a normal behavior for human beings, And so it's also another step that's really important to take to put yourself in gratitude.
Right.
Because when you do, as you know, the universe, again, another law of the universe, it brings more to us of what we're putting out. And so it's going to give us more things to be grateful for.
Exactly.
I think you taught me that 10 years ago, actually. I think you taught me that a very long time ago. And then I do. I live, it has become such a part of my being that a lot of times I don't even think about it anymore. I just am living in gratitude. And it's a really good feeling, actually. It's part of what makes me happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think if the world said thank you or found gratitude, even through challenging times or even tragic times.
More importantly, through those times.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds trite, sometimes to the person who's so much in pain, but when you say we can always find something to be grateful for,
Yeah.
that's an intention
It
of
is
finding the gratitude in everything.
and I'm sorry if I can bring up a personal thing on your behalf. I know that you have mentioned this before, but you lost your brother this year. And because you do have gratitude so much in your heart and you do believe that there's always something to be grateful for, you chose, again, it's a choice, not to be, for lack of a better word, mucked down in your grief. What you did is you had gratitude for the time that you had together. And you
Well, I
had,
was going to bring that. That was exactly what I was going to say when you brought that up. I thought of my brother right away.
Mhm.
And he was such a big energy, in his life and in my life, um, that I had to, and I did automatically go to how grateful I was that he was in my life,
Mhm.
because he impacted it in that way, because he was big gratitude and big energy. So it's not about masking the pain.
Right.
It's important to feel
Acknowledge it,
and
feel it.
acknowledge it, and to be in that moment, because it's just, it's a loss. There's a whole bunch of stages around
Mhm.
grief and sadness.
Mhm.
But to again, setting the intention of living a life well lived.
Mhm.
He did that, and I'm going to continue to do that, and and be grateful, for that fleeting moment. We're all a fleeting moment in this galaxy, right?
Like that song, "Dust in the Wind." Just a grain of salt or a grain of sand. But yeah, so it's funny that these conversations, regardless of the quote that we're, using as a jumping point for the conversations, it's really kind of interesting the way they keep on circling around to the same exact thing. Live your life with intention, live your life to be a better you, always strive to grow. um, every moment is a choice. Every day is part of making your life a great one.
Right.
And there's certain themes that run through the whole thing. And living in gratitude is one of the big ones, and setting intentions is another.
And I think that sums it up. So
Yeah, it
um,
does.
just really wishing everyone in this moment a day well lived.
Yes.
And we don't have to go beyond that. Be
No,
present
we
in
don't.
that. Yeah. And then they'll build upon each other.
Yeah. So, Marion and I are also going to try to help you take these baby steps by, offering just some posts on our Facebook pages or documents sometimes. And I would like to invite you to go to either my Facebook page, Cheryl T. Campbell, or to my website, CherylTCampbell.com. And I'm going to have a free download for you. And I decided just before Mary and I got on to call it Unlocking Your Potential. And it's a journal that will help you. I should say it's a journal and a planner kind of combined that will help you take some of these steps daily, and just little nudging of reminders through the pages of this PDF, fully downloadable, and then you can either use it on your computer or you can download it and actually print it out and have it in front of you and write in it physically, your choice. But it's there for you to use if you will find that helpful. So, and Marion, again, your page that you like people to come to and visit.
And that
is?
sounds wonderful, Cheryl. I think I'm going to
Oh.
download that too.
Good, cool.
But my whole message is stepping into happy, which is stepping into your potential.
Yes.
So on Facebook, it's just search under Step Into Happy. I'm doing a close to weekly podcast on just walking the steps.
Do you post that podcast on your Facebook page, Marion?
That's on my
either?
Facebook page as well as these conversations. So just scroll down from
Great.
this conversation and you'll find my latest podcast.
And I'm going to make a suggestion to you because you're so knowledgeable about the essential oils. And you and I have been using them for years, but I'm not that knowledgeable about them. I just grab, on things that I feel like I need that day. And for some reason, I just choose them. But you're so knowledgeable about it. Do you put information about essential oils on that page at all?
I am, I'm going to do more of that because
Cool.
I am adding all of my tools in.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one.
So I will be adding some of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So guys, we're trying to keep these a little on the short side, and we hope you found this helpful. And until we meet again, many blessings to you and yours. So bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye for now.
Bye. Signing off.